Hi, it's Lynn Shuck with Healing and Balance. We're going to be diving into a balance again, and this one is called dancer pose. I see interesting variations of this because of differing levels of ability. One of the most common errors is the same thing I see as in Warrior 3, pelvis opens up. We do want to think of shoulders and hips facing forward even as things tip over at all. Okay, we don't want this to open, that hip to get pulled back behind. And that's really hard to do. Generally speaking, this pose is done by grabbing a foot and pushing the foot away from you, and your chest is facing forward and the foot goes up higher and away. I don't have a lot of movement in this direction and I'm not particularly warm, but that's about it for me. There's some arch happening in the upper body, foot is pushing away. One of the common errors I see in addition to hip that gets pulled back as you push the foot back is no arch, no dome. And so you grab the foot and you tip forward and now you're basically in Warrior 3 holding onto your foot. Warrior 3 is the last video I did, so if you aren't sure what Warrior 3 is, you can go look at it. But we end up in a straight line from head to knee, we've just bent the knee. Now I have this belt here because I find that a lot of people are so tight through the quadriceps and the hip flexor that when they go to grab their foot, they either bend over to the side, or they have to bring their knee forward to grab their shin, or they have to really kick that leg up. If you pick your foot up and can't really reach, you should probably be using a belt. Sometimes I do use my foot, as you saw, I demonstrated it with my foot, but as you can see, I can just barely touch my foot when I lift it up. I don't have the strength at that end range of movement. So I'm going to use a loop on the belt. It's not a very big loop, I've made a small loop. I'm going to put my foot in that loop. Because I'm fairly close to reaching my foot, I grab fairly close to my foot. If I didn't have that much movement, I'd have it further away, but my arm should be straight. I shouldn't be bending my arm. So grab the belt where you need to. You'll see I'm on the front of the ankle as opposed to the top of my foot. That's a personal preference. You could be on the top of your foot. The first thing I want to do is push my knee down toward the floor. So I really find this length from my torso, head, torso, knee of that bent leg. I'm going to then push the foot into the belt away from me. And then as I do that, I'm going to let it lift up. My shoulder starts to rotate open, but I'm still keeping my chest and pelvis facing forward. And you can see this has pushed my rib cage forward and taken me into that dome. If you go higher than this, good for you. Then you should go higher than this. I don't have much movement in that direction, so that's as far as I go. Your gaze should stay up regardless of how far. You're not looking at the floor when you finish this pose. You're looking in front of you with your chest facing forward-ish. Now, if you want to take this into the arms, I'm switching sides because I don't want to keep doing the same side. If you want to take this into more of the shoulder work, you actually could grab the belt this way, and I'm using both hands. I'm going to again push my foot away from me, back toward the wall behind me, and up. If you've ever seen ice skating, and we just finished with the Olympics, you know when they grab their skate overhead? That is the shape of dancer pose. You grab your foot with both hands behind you, and you have made this tiny little circle because of that much mobility in your spine. Most of us don't have that mobility. So work with a belt. Check out and see, are you opening that pelvis up? So try and really think of keeping your pelvis, hips, and shoulders facing forward as you lift up. That's about all I'm going to teach with that right now. If people have more questions, I'll go into more detail, but honestly, work on those basics and then let's see if we can go further with it. For now, grab a belt and see what you can do. Hold on to the wall as much as you need to. No shame when you're working on an actual technique in a balance. Holding on can help you find that work. And that's what we want to do. We want to find the work of creating the shape and then work on the balance away from holding on. Cool. We see how one infiltrates the other. That's what I've got for you in dancer pose. Go.